Please rise for the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the Woodbury Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. I'd like to introduce our board to you. We have one standing. We have brand new microphones. This is very nice. To your far right, we have Mr. Joseph DiVenuto. Next to him is Mr. Gary Kestenbaum. Then Mr. Kevin Abrams. Coming back to his seat is Mr. Craig Brady. To your far left is our attorney, Mr. Rob Dickover, and I'm Karen Ungerer, and our recording secretary is Jess McLennan. She's in the rear of the room.
Hi, Jess.
Okay. We meet the second Wednesday of every month. Our next meeting will be in March 11th. It will be here at Village Hall, 7:30 p.m. Okay, I'm going to look.
Snows.
Unless it snows.
I'm being optimistic.
Okay. First item on the agenda is executive session. We're going to have an attorney-client meeting, so you can sit tight, or I don't think you want to leave, but we'll be back in a little bit. Thank you.
Madam Chairman, just for the record, please let it reflect that it's an attorney-client session to receive legal advice in connection with the Avalon application and the decision on the interpretation that's been requested.
Thank you. I think it's on. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for your patience. All right, we're gonna, do we need to reopen the, do we need to close the client attorney? Okay, we're, do I need a motion on that? Or do I just reopen it? Okay, do I have a motion to reopen our meeting?
Motion. Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're now reopened. All right. We're on number 2 on the agenda, approval and acceptance of previous minutes. This is from January 8th. Has everyone read the minutes from January 8th?
I make a motion we accept.
Any second?
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. New business? None. Okay, action on decisions. The first one is Itzkowitz. This is review draft decision for an area variance to permit a 19-foot by 17-foot addition to an existing single-family dwelling, leaving a rear yard setback of 32 feet, including overhang, whereas pursuant to Section 310-6B and 310-7 bulk table, a 50-foot rear yard setback is required. Said property is located in the R2A zoning district at 17 Blueberry Lane, Highland Mills, Section 217, Block 2, Lot 8. And after several pages of facts and findings, our decision is as follows. In employing the balancing tests set forth in Village Law, Section 7-712B, letter C, and taking into consideration the Board's findings as set forth herein, the Board hereby determines to grant the variance as requested. How do you vote, Joe?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So the variance has been granted to Mr. Iskowitz, who is not present tonight. Second action on decisions, the Shops of Woodbury LLC review draft decision for area variances and/or code interpretations. Applicant proposes to construct a commercial center and hotel having a lot area of 9.65 acres. The applicant is also seeking relief from Section 310-7 regulating side yard setbacks and Section 310-12B regulating setbacks for commercial centers from state and county roads. Said property is located in the IB zoning district off of the intersection of State Route 32 and Losey Lane, Central Valley, Section 225, blocks 1 through 34.1 and lots 34.1 and 34.2. No. And we have several pages of facts and findings also for this decision. Decision and conclusion. As a consequence of the Board's discussion, the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby grants the requested area variances described and discussed above, subject to the aforementioned conditions to the extent noted above, and hereby finds that the variances as granted are the minimum variances necessary to preserve and protect the character of the neighborhood. The Board further finds that the retaining wall, sidewalk, and portion of the roadway, Losey Lane, are permitted within the 25-foot landscaped area. How do you vote, Joe?
I vote aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So Shops at Woodbury will get their variances and interpretation. Okay, public hearings. First public hearing is Avalon, continuation of public hearing for review of a ruling by the building inspector pursuant to Section 310-49C3, whereas Village Code Section 310-7.1D5 states a hotel shall have frontage on a state or county highway or right-of-way. The building inspector has determined that the primary frontage for the proposed hotel is on a village road, Turner Road. If required, an area variance is requested to permit the construction of a 130-room, 4-story hotel on a village road. Said property is located in the Hotel Overlay and Limited Commercial Zoning District at 140 Route 32 and 94 Turner Road, Central Valley, Section Block and Lot 226-1 to 5, 1.1, 5, and 6.2. And the applicant is here. Would you please state your name for the record?
Good evening, Christy Adonis.
Could you turn your mic on? Because it seems actually to be working. It's got a little... I don't know how that one.
No,
it's on the
it's
side.
here now.
Yeah.
No, you see right here?
It's different.
I think that,
Oh, yeah, it is.
Good evening. Christy Adonis, Silverberg Zolantis, John Queen, and Lincoln Tully on behalf of the applicant.
did you have any... We left the public hearing open in case you had anything more that you wished to say.
Well, I think we had addressed over the last two meetings with the board the analysis of the interpretation, which was the primary form of relief that we were requesting. At the end of the last meeting, the board did direct a resolution be prepared, but we are prepared to address the area variance criteria if need be, depending upon the outcome of the resolution.
So I guess, do I have any questions from the board as far as... No? Okay, we did receive a 239 that there's no issue with the county or state, on the road there. Do we want to keep this open? Oh,
Public.
that's right.
Come on.
Okay, we have no further questions for you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak to this application? No? Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion that we close the public hearing.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so public hearing is closed. You want to do a decision, make a... do it-
I make a
Yep,
motion that we direct council to prepare a decision based on the discussions that we've had in favor of the interpretation requested by the applicant.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we'll have you draw up a draft decision, and this is a type 2, it doesn't need any further.
Right, just for the record, let it reflect that the interpretation is a type 2 action under the SEQA regulations requiring no further environmental determination by this board.
Okay?
Thank you very much. Have
All
a nice
righty.
evening.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Next public hearing is Spezzafaro, public hearing for a special permit for the continued use of an existing second dwelling unit for a family member, Lucy Conde. Pursuant to Section 310-35 of the Village Code, said property is located in the R1A zoning district at 1 Carlisle Court in Highland Mills and is known on the tax maps as Section 250, Block 1, Lot 36. Is the applicant present? Would you step to the podium, please? State your name for the record.
Sheila Spezzafaro.
Oh, I said it right. Could you tell us a little bit, your application says that this is an existing
Yes.
special permit, mother-daughter, and you wish to continue the use.
Yes.
Is this for the same person, or, in other words, you have it, that it's been in use like this since?
Well, we just purchased the home in
Okay.
November.
Okay, so...
So my mother's an owner as well, and she would like to move in eventually, maybe this summer, into the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the reason that there's a 3-month lag of special permit?
Well,
Because
I received it in January.
you received permission for the...
I received that letter in January from...
What letter is that?
That I needed to apply, because I knew nothing
Oh.
about this when I moved here.
Okay,
When I
okay.
purchased the home.
Okay. And that was from the building department, Mr. Gary
Yes.
Thomasberger? Okay. So,
Do you know who the previous owner was?
Ally,
Ellie?
A-L-I. So, as far as I know, I found out at the closing that we needed to get permits and all this. I didn't know till the end.
Do you know, we have no documentation that what this was used as a mother-daughter? Do you have anything like that?
Was there a permit at,
You know, in other words, the people who you bought the house from,
Right?
did they have someone living in that section and have a permit for it?
Yeah, as far as I know, it's his mother.
I think we would need to check on that, wouldn't we? Or no, in other words, what I'm trying to get at is, you know, I want to make sure this isn't existing before we start looking at all the, you know,
Basically
size and
said
floor
there's-
plans and whatever.
There's no changes, right? The proposed change, there are none. You're not
There's-
doing anything to the
no.
house. There's nothing to be done. You're simply going to use it
Right,
for what you thought was already there.
yes.
A question, are there appliances, stove, et cetera?
Yes.
There are, okay. So it may, I mean, essentially, whether it was in use or not, does that bear on this council? Because if they're not making any changes,
Right, if it had a previous approval, it probably would make your review easier.
Right.
But in its absence, you need to confirm that the property meets the, what is it, 6 different criteria to gain a permit like this. So you could embark upon that question now and see maybe you don't need to know whether or not it had a prior approval. If you'd like, I can go through this examination with the applicant.
Go for it.
The proposed use of the unit, the second dwelling unit, is it for no more than 2 additional persons?
Oh, it's for my mother, just one person.
One. And she's your mother, so she is directly related to you, and you are an owner of the property, is that correct?
And so is she.
Okay. Do you know the size, the square footage of the floor area of the unit that she will be residing in?
No, I didn't bring any.
One of the requirements for this type of a permit is that, I believe it's the maximum square footage is 1,000 square feet. Is there a way for you to bring a floor plan? Do you have the floor plans for this building as it was constructed? Did you get that at the closing?
I'm not sure.
Is there a way you can find out and provide the floor plan?
I would have to go through everything that I have at home. I mean, I don't know.
If you didn't receive it, when was the home built? What year?
I think 2003.
All right, so the building plan should be on file with the building department. Perhaps you could go there and get a copy of your floor plan and draw out, perhaps in a big red marker, the space that's going to be occupied by her, that consists of this second unit.
Well, what I don't understand is if they got a permit before, if they've been getting permits, shouldn't it be?
We
the
asked
same
you
thing
that.
if
You
I-
apparently don't know. If you have that permit, you could show us
I
that
mean,
as
I
well.
don't
and we
have a
could-
permit. I'm trying to get a permit.
This board does not have in its files this other permit that you're talking about. So if you want to bring that into us and demonstrate it to this board, you know, they'll take that into consideration, and maybe we won't have to go through these 6 criteria. But in its absence, we're trying to help you along here to get through this. Which way would you like to proceed? You want to adjourn and get us the prior permit, or would you like to continue with these questions?
Well, I wouldn't be able to get the prior permit because isn't that from the previous owner?
It would be on file with your building department.
So she could go to the building
could go to the
department and
building
ask for the, you know, copy of the permit, the previous owner's permit for the mother-daughter.
I
That
guess
would
I'll try
probably be,
that.
that would be the easiest way than, rather than going, you know, I mean, how else would you know?
I don't know.
You
This is
don't,
like all
right.
new to me. I
Yeah.
had no idea it would be so
Your realtor didn't say
complicated.
anything to you about?
No,
Oh.
no.
So do you want to adjourn to try and bring in
Another-
the copy of the prior permit and the floor plans for the building?
Well, where do I have to go? Where's
Building
the
Right
building
here.
department?
Right over here.
Right to that door.
Not tonight, but during the work week.
It's just a matter of supporting documentation.
Yeah, basically.
In other words, if the board were to grant or deny with no documentation, you
Right.
can't.
Yeah, but I wish I
You
had
can't
been-
go either way
I had
without
no
the
idea. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then-
normally the previous homeowner lets the new purchaser come in front of the board
Prior to purchasing, yeah, so that they,
So we
know.
have all that documentation that goes with it. Now, is this on an upper level, or is this not in the, like,
It's next,
basement
it
area?
looks like it's next door.
It's
It's-
right, yeah, right next.
Is there a separate egress and ingress?
No.
Yeah, you go in through the front door?
There's just one, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that when I drove by. I think the easiest thing for you to do would be to go to the building department. Or if you can't go there physically, call them and ask them if they could fax a copy to you or something. They're very accommodating if you have to work and can't get there during business hours.
It would make sense to get a floor plan, which they should have.
They should have that,
Get
and
a
they should have the
photocopy of
previous
floor
owner.
plan, and then let's hope that a permit existed for Mr. Raleigh.
Right. But even if it didn't, with the floor plan, we could determine if it met the proper size requirements.
All right, you getting this down?
There is one other item that the board would have to satisfy itself. It's that all of the bulk dimensional requirements of the zoning district in which the dwelling is located must be complied with. If there's a CO for this structure, I think that
I
would be
would-
reasonable assurance that it met the bulk area requirements. But in its absence, we would need your survey and/or site plan for this property to show that it meets the bulk area requirements. Perhaps you got a survey from your closing?
Well, we had a survey done of the property.
And so we would ask you to bring that in also with you the next time you come back, or bring it, get it to us sooner, actually. My examination of that should be able to answer the question of whether or not the bulk area requirements are met.
That's just referring to setbacks and things like that.
And when would I have to come back? When is the next meeting?
March 11th.
And just for the record at this point, what is the name of, it's your mother, I think you said? What is her
Yes.
name?
Lucy Condi.
C-O-N-D.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, well, you didn't even have a drawing or pictures or.
Right. Do you know if this, when this, is this an addition that was put on, or was it built, when the house was built, was it all built at the same time?
My understanding was that it was built from the beginning that way.
That way?
Yeah, that's the way the description reads, and custom-built home.
Yeah, because it looks, it doesn't look like, sometimes you can
No.
tell, it looks like it's
Yeah.
part of the house.
Yeah, it is.
So that,
That would be the extent of what the board would need.
all right, so if you can get, you can call the building department and ask for, the survey, I guess that they'll be able to tell if the
Well, they should have a
bulk
CO.
rate.
They should have
Have
a
a
CO
CO
on
for,
file,
yes.
because this is part of Brigadoon, so it's.
And
not
it's
that
right,
old.
and it was built in 2003.
Right, they should-
It's not a recent, brand-new, where nothing's,
And since it was custom and it's not an addition, it meets the bulk requirements.
I would think, yeah.
Again,
You're just looking for verification.
That's
I
all.
get
I get it. All right, so if you can get a copy of the permit, the previous permit, floor plan, certificate, I'm sure there's a certificate of occupancy.
Right.
It has
So
to be. They
CO.
wouldn't have been able to sell it.
Maybe we can write it down for her.
Yeah.
But try to get it to the building department, whatever you're gonna submit, like at least a week ahead of time, right?
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
come in with it that night.
So you want me to go to ask them for this information, and then they're going to submit it to you?
No, they'll give it to you,
Yeah, but now
and
you're
you will give it to us.
But you said don't come in with it that night.
Right, in other words, don't wait till the last minute. In other words, send,
They'll give
give
you
it,
the paperwork, you're gonna have to make 5 copies of each or whatever, and then take it back to them, and then they'll put it in our boxes. This way we have a chance to review it
How
before the
much
next
lead
meeting.
time is she supposed to give them on that? 10 days or something like that? A week?
oh, for them to get it? It was,
Get it to the building department.
Yeah, maybe
There is
10
a
days.
time span.
yeah, they're pretty efficient.
Sorry. I mean, I wish we could just,
I just wish I knew when I came to the building department. He
Yeah,
looked at the application and he didn't say I needed anything else. And as far as I know, this house has been there. I purchased it that way.
but even I don't recognize the other previous owners, their name.
Yeah.
He's writing this down for you so that you can remember what to ask for.
Okay, thank you.
You're a good guy.
All right, I'm sorry that we couldn't do it this evening, but given this information, we'll have a lot more to go on next month.
But just make 5 copies of each, or 6 copies.
They'll
of
tell you,
each.
they'll tell you, tell them you need it for the zoning board, and they'll tell you what you need to do, how many copies and whatever.
Does that look right?
Yeah.
Did you type it up?
Just make sure.
Did I type
We
it
don't
up?
want you having to come back again with the wrong.
Survey.
Oh, yeah.
Fire permit, survey, CO, floor plan, yep.
Okay. You want to take this? Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So we're going to leave this public hearing open until next month. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we hold this over till March 11th.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we'll see you next month. All right, thank you. We did not get a building inspector's report. We didn't close any public hearings, did we?
Well, there's no deliberations. We did close one, but no.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, that's right, we did it so that they could hear. Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion for adjournment.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, meeting is over.